While you are working with graphs in your graphing calculator, you also have the option to have the calculator make you a table of values for any graph that you enter in y equals. So for this instructional video, we're going to start with these two graphs, y equals 2x minus 1 and y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2. Simply pressing the graph button gives us the visual of the two lines intersecting. But what if we wanted to create a table? The secondary option of the graph button is table. So if we press second and graph, we get tables for both of the lines. So this is the x or the domain or the input. These are the outputs or the ranges for both of those functions based on those inputs. This was our first graph. The third column is our second graph. And we can see all of the associated values. It makes for really easy comparisons between the graphs. Sometimes you may want to adjust different components of this table. You might want to adjust the x's. You might want to adjust how often these values are calculated. For example, if you're talking about something that's in the hundreds and the thousands, you may not want 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The calculator has another secondary function, and you see it with the window button where it says TBLSet. If you press second and window, this is the table set menu. This is where you tell the calculator where you want the table to start, how you want the table to count. So maybe for the sake of example, I want to start my table at 56, and I want my table to count by threes. If I go back into the table, second and graph, I now see that my table starts at 56 and counts by threes. You also have the option of setting the independent variable, the x, the domain, to ask instead of auto. If we scroll down and change the independent variable to ask, and we go back to the table, you'll notice that the table is now blank. If we wanted specific x and y values, we now have to ask the calculator to do them for us. So say I wanted to know at 112 what the value of each function is. I enter 112, I press enter or equals, and I get that the first function has a value of 223, and the second function has a value of negative 35.33. One suggestion that I would give you before you're done using this table set option and these specific values is to go back into the table set and put everything back when you're done. It can be rather confusing when you go in to use the table again and you see that it's blank or it just has this random series of values that you've calculated. The calculator is really good at saving the things that you did already, especially in options like table set and graph. So it's not a bad idea to go back and reset everything before you go to use the calculator again.